Hi everybody. Well, I'm back. I promised you that I would be, and this time I don't have my necklace on. I have it on a tile so you can kind of see it a little bit better, but this is the necklace that I actually just finished this morning, so I'm going to share it with you. And it really is simple, and I will show you right now what I used for the necklace. This is what you'll need. You'll need your choice of clay in whatever color you want. I mixed orange and white on that one. This time I mixed orange and green, and I rolled it out on my pasta machine at a 4. You want to marble or mix your colors, but not blend them together so it looks muddy. So then I rolled it out on a 4, so that's ready. And then I also use, this time I used the Sculptor's Vaseline from Green Stuff World, and I used that to attach the clay to a wooden spindle. And I'm going to do a large spindle today. I used large spindles and I used smaller spindles when I made the necklace, but I'm just going to do the large one today. And then I used some cutters to cut some circles out of the clay. And I also used a little cutter. This is just a small cutter that I used to put on top of the hole once I had the clay on the spindle, and cut that out. And then I reamed the hole out with my X-Acto knife. And sometimes you need to shave a little bit of the clay like this from the side. What I'm trying to do with the clay is to wrap it around, and I'm using scrap clay from my scrap pile first. And what I do is I roll it out in a strip, and that is on my widest setting. Probably wouldn't need to be though. My widest setting is 0. I could probably go down to a 1 or a 2 if I wanted to. Anyway, once I get that on, I'll put the Vaseline on first. You could use the Genesis, but I had ordered this and I just thought I would try it today. And it works just fine. And it does feel like Vaseline. And looks more like Vaseline as opposed to the Genesis. It doesn't look like Vaseline as much. So I'll set the Genesis aside since I'm going to use this. I also used this little feather, and I got that in the jewelry findings at Hobby Lobby. Okay? And I also used a texture sheet. And you can choose whatever texture sheet you would like, but it should be flexible, like that. All right, let's give it a try here, and let's get started. Oh, and also I used these beads with 3/4 inch hole. It's just a silver bead. And I'll re-show you the necklace again here in just a few minutes. You can probably see it on my screen still. And I used some eyelets. Okay, some eyelets so I could finish off the beads. Let me just show you that quickly. So you see how the eyelets are in there on each bead? Some of them are glued in, some actually clay came up around them a little bit, and so that holds them in. So I put them in before I bake them, bring them out. If they're loose, I glue them in. If they're stuck in there with clay, I leave them alone. So that's that. And then I also used, do you remember my video about the rag rug that I took apart? These are the rag pieces out of that rug, and I have been able to use these now for 2 necklaces, and I love them. $1 rag rug at Dollar Tree. Take it apart, and you have several pieces that you can use for necklaces or for whatever, and they're stretchy. I just love these. So what a huge savings I made on all these. So if you can do it, if you got a Dollar Tree, go get a rag rug, take it apart, use it. Be great. All right, I'm going to move this aside a little bit, and since I have already excuse me, taken my clay that I took from my scrap pile and rolled it out, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to put this on the spindle. You just take your finger, wipe it on there, and get it nice and slippery. And this, it says on the bottle that it helps clay stick to, adhere to things. So All right, I've got the bigger piece here, and since this is a larger spindle, I'm going to put it around the middle of the spindle, like that. And then I'm just going to cut it off. No science here, as you're going to see in just a minute, because what you do is you get your fingers, your forefinger and your thumb a little wet, and then you begin to press it on. And the reason I did this is because spindles are indented a little bit. Do you see how I'm just working that into that indented part? And because I put a little of this Vaseline on my fingers, it's spreading really nicely for me, really nicely. And you can use whatever color clay you want to from your scrap pile. I just used white because I have quite a bit of white in there that I need to use up. So, and then I just roll it like that. Okay. And that should do it. That fills that in really nicely, as you can tell, hopefully. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a circle, a larger circle. That one, probably 2 of them if I need them. And I'm going to take a little more of the Vaseline, put it on top, and I'm just going to lay this on top like that and bring it down around the sides. You see? It doesn't cover the whole thing, but it will. All right. Now I'm going back, dipping my finger a little bit into the Vaseline, and I'm just going to stretch it. Do you see what I'm doing? And sometimes it'll pull away and it'll show your wood, so you can just pull it back up. But it's kind of messy, but it works really, really, really well, surprisingly. And then sometimes I'll just take it, or I'll roll it on my work surface, and then I take the other one, add a little Vaseline to the other end, and add this one. There we go. And then now I'm going to do the same for this one. I'm just going to bring it down. And obviously your clay has been conditioned and it's a little bit softer to work with, but the Vaseline helps actually. And then I roll it in my fingers, and I roll it a little bit on my work surface. All right, it's getting to where I want it to be. And I'm going to just cut out the ends now. Kind of take a guess as to where that is. It's not a big deal if it doesn't come right out. I'll just fish it out with my X-Acto knife. See? Your fingers get a little sticky while you do that, but it's, if you've got your wet wipes like I do right handy, you'll use them. All right, now I'm going to cut this one. These cutters, Valerie Evans showed us these cutters. Let me just show you that. You might want to check out her video for these cutters. They're leather cutters that she ordered off the internet, and I found them, and oh, I really like them. They're all kinds of unique sizes. So, all right, I cut through that. Now I'm going to go fish that piece out a little bit. Sometimes it does come out, sometimes it doesn't come out. And you know, you might even be able to go ahead and just poke in here with your X-Acto knife and just get it out without the cutter too. You could give it a try. All right, put that aside. All right, I've got that covered pretty well. Now what I want to do is I want to stick my eyelets in each end. And I think these are 1/4 inch eyelets. I've got different size ones, and you see how that kind of just finishes it off. Now I'm going to roll this in the texture sheet, so I have some texture on it. However, I'm just kind of making it look the way I want it to look. And it's hard for you to see probably the white in there, but there is white in there. All right, that's that. That's the end, both ends. Now I'm going to take the texture sheet. Let me get rid of the Vaseline here because I won't need it anymore. Just wipe my fingers off a little bit. And then I take the textured side of the texture sheet, I lay this in here. This is the one I used for my orange necklace too. And I bring it up around, just like this, and kind of work it around. You can roll it, but then you got a fingerprint. So just bring it around. That's why it's good that it's flexible. And then I grab the ends and check. And if you can tell, I don't know if you can tell that or not, but there are some textures on that. And now I want to texture the ends. So as I set it down, I pick a place. I think I want that place because there's some leaves there. As I push down on the top of this, the bottom of it will be textured as well. So I'm going to bring this over and just lightly texture. And that's completely textured. See that? And if I flip it over, oh, it pulled away a little bit. It pulled away from the wood just a little bit, so I just patted it down. That's partially textured, so now I'm going to go back and just kind of make sure I've got it textured. All right. Yep, it's all textured now. You see that? So that's one bead already done, and you can set that aside and make as many beads as you want to make. But now I'm going to show you how to make the feather. All right. So all I did with that is I doubled up on my clay like this to make it thicker. I placed it where I wanted it, and actually I turned it around. I'm going to turn it around like that, and then I'm just going to press it in, and I don't have a release on it. I do not have a release. All right, then I just flip that up. Oh, it's got a little bit of orange left on it. Let me just pick that out a little bit. All right, now you can see that the imprint is in there. And what I'm going to do is right next to it, because I want to lay another one behind it, because this one, it shows it on the front, the lines on the front, but it also shows the lines on the back. Okay, that's just like any other piece. You want to finish it off nicely. So I'm going to, let's see, where should I do that? Maybe I'll cut this one out a little bit first. Okay, then I'm going to take this and my scrap from that, and I'm going to roll it through the pasta machine on my widest setting, which is, for me, I have an Atlas 180, is 0. All right, so I just roll that out any way you want to, and pick the side that I like. I like that side. So remember, because I have it going this way, I want, when I bring it out, I want this one to go that way as well. So I'm going to punch it into, or press it into the clay, lift that out again. Sometimes they're a little persnickety about coming out, but they'll come out. And then I'm going to just take it out, and take it out. Oh, and you know what I did? Okay, you get to just see my mistake. I have to put it the other way, just like an earring. I have to put it the other way. So I rolled it back in, and I'm going to go, let's see, let's go this way with it. All right, sorry about that. It's good that you see people doing errors too, though. Can't get it under there. Come on, come on. Okay. So it came out a little sloppy on that end, but it'll work. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of cut close in. I won't cut the feathery sides in until I have them together. But I cut close, as you can see. Make sure I have room for a hole at the top. I cut that close. Now I'm going to cut this one close. There's one. Make sure I leave something at the top for it. That's pretty close right there already. There we go. All right, now I'm going to put this one on the back, and line them up as best I can. Okay, I lined them up as best as I could. Make sure there's no bubbles in there. And then you come around here with your X-Acto knife and cut the rest off. It's nice when you have a form to follow. I'm sure you could make a feather on your own. In fact, I have, but I like that little feather that I saw. So, okay, now this is kind of misshaping up here, but you can just shape it back up. You just want to make sure you have a place to put a hole so it can attach to your necklace later. And then what you want to do is you need to go in and you need to make some cuts. You see that? You want it to look realistic, so you need to go in and make some cuts, just like that. And I'll make a few more. I won't do it all. Okay. All right, you see how I'm starting off there? Kind of make it look feather-like, and you do that to the entire feather. Once you're done, what I have done is I took some, let's see, this is Pearl White Pearl X. Forgot to mention that I used Pearl X on this. And once they are ready to be baked, and the feather's not ready yet, so I'm going to just do it to the bead. What I do is just take my finger, and there's some of this in the cap, so just use your cap. You don't need much, and you just bring a little bit of shine to the bead. And you know what? I am going to go in there a little bit because there's not enough on the cap. So let me just show you how that shines that up. Hopefully you can see it. You just rub ever so gently. You see the pretty shine that gives it? And if you don't have Pearl X, you might have another powder at home that you could use, but it just makes the texture pop on your piece, and it's rather nice when you see it on a necklace. You don't lose your color, but it just makes the necklace texture pop a little bit, and that's always fun to see a little texture, a little bit of the texture pop out on your necklace. I love texture. Maybe you do too. All right, so that's enough for that one. So that bead is done. I'll do the other ones off camera, but that one's done. So now you know how to make a bead out of a spool, a wooden spool. And you know what? Those wooden spools you can buy at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and they are not expensive to buy. If you do not have cutters to use, you could use the top of a jar or a pill bottle or something. If you don't have a little feather to use, like this little metal feather, you can use your imagination for number one. Just go on the internet, pull up some pictures of feathers, and just kind of draw it out. Or copy it, make a copy of it, and then cut that out and then trace it onto some clay. I try to make things that are easy, but hopefully they're nice and they're fun to wear and people like them. I think that was the only thing. I did not have to use this blade, but what I do when I use the blade, when I put my scrap clay on the inside of the spool, if it sticks out too far, then I shave it a little bit. I just go around and shave it a little bit. I didn't have to do that to too many on my orange and white one either, but I did do it. I did use it. So that's how to make a very easy necklace. And then on the tie in the back, I made one extra. I have 2 large beads right here, and then 6 small beads. And I made an extra bead so I could make this necklace one that I can just slip over my head. And it's stretchy. It's stretchy, so it's just great. And all you have to do, and then I added these 2 silver beads on the ends and tied the knots really tight and put glue on the knots and let the glue dry, so that if you want to make it smaller, you can do that. And then not only that, but it adds a little bit of interest hanging it down your back a little bit. Isn't that cool? This is a fun necklace. This can be worn with jeans. You can dress it up, whatever you want to do. Oh, and down here, I want to show you one thing. Let's see if I can get this straightened out a little bit here. Here we go. On this bead here, all I did before I put the bead on was I put my little O-ring here on that, and then another one on the larger one, and that's how I beaded my feather into the necklace. You could put any charm on here or add several charms on here if you wanted to, or not have a charm. You can do whatever you wanted to do, but this adds a little interest. It's a little bit more unique, so I added it and I like it. So I hope you've enjoyed that today, and I hope that I've explained it well enough so that you can try it. I would love to see it if you try it. That would be great. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and dig into some clay and just have fun. If you make a mistake, it really doesn't matter. Smoosh the clay, go back at it. Well, that's my advice anyway. All right, you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you very soon for a Granny J Say. God bless you all. Bye-bye.